Hello all, this is Vaski from Computer Science and Engineering Department. So in this video we are going to discuss about the database management system. So first of all, so what is data? So data is nothing but the collection of raw information. For example, if I am taking as an thousands and thousands of data means, so entire data should not be maintained in a paragraph format. So that's why we are moving to the table content. So that is table of the data is called as a database. So whenever we are collecting very huge amount of data, so that is called as the database. So management system is nothing but if you are collecting a table format data, so it may be used for in future use. For example, the student related data, or else any industry oriented data, or else any library related data or hospital related data, whatever it is fully consisting of huge amount of data. So the table is nothing but it is consisting of number of rows and columns. So how it is maintained and how it is retrieved from the huge amount of data. So that entire process is called as a database management system. So in this video we are going to specifically discuss about the purpose of database management system. So the first one is it is defined as a well-defined software system. So this is nothing but whenever we are collecting a huge amount of database, so it should be present in the define, create and maintain. So this is providing the very major operation in the database management system. So define is nothing but if I am collecting a data means it should contain attributes, entities. So that is nothing but also entity sets. So here we are going to provide a detailed information about the raw data. For example, if I am taking as a student name or student roll number means, so that definition should be provided whether it is comes under the data, which kind of data type. So then only we can easily identify whether the data comes under primary key or secondary key. So which means we have to provide the very clear information about the data. So that is called as an define. The next one is create. So create is nothing but if you want to update the data over to the table means we have to create one table. So the table should be contain a table name and well defined information about the database, which means we have to provide the entity of the data, which means the data about the data. So that is called as an entity of the data. So whenever we are creating a database, that should be present in a clear format. So that is called as a create. And maintain is nothing but if I am collecting 1,000 of records in the database means, so that entire database should be maintained in future days. So that is called as an maintain. So we can maintain a database in cloud, or else we can maintain in local internal storage. So whatever it is, the purpose of database is nothing but we are just creating a database. In the database we are updating the data. So in future if you want we can retrieve the data. So that is called as the database management system. So nowadays whenever we are collecting a very huge amount of data, which means big data means the data should be analyzed, which kind of data. So for that purpose we are using the data analytics mechanism. So in that we can use a specific softwares like Tableau. Likewise we can use for analyzing the huge amount of the data. So that is the analytics of the data. We are just analyzing so which kind of data we are based on the database information we can predict in future what the exactly happen. So that is the future advanced enhancement work. So here it is a collection of programs. So it is used for managing the data. Simultaneously it is used for different types of user like create, manage, retrieve, update and store the information. So retrieve is nothing but so from that huge amount of database, if I want to access the 539th row, which means that record means, so with the help of that primary key we can easily retrieve the data from the huge amount of database. So here we are mainly used for primary key retrieving the data. So what is the primary key character means it should not be in null. So which means the data should be filled in that specific cell, and also it is consisting of only at unity of the data. So which means it does not contain any duplicate amount of data. So then only we can easily retrieve the data from huge amount of the database. So that is called as an retrieve. The next one is updation. For example, if I want to add any information or else if I want to change or modify over to the table means, So that is operation is called as then updation. So after completing all the changes, the final database should be store. So that is considering as an save the database. So that is called as an the store the information. The next one, the way major purpose of the database is, so it's transform the following three types of informations. So first one, we are just converting the raw data into information. So that is the first step. The next one is the entire information is converted into that knowledge. So which means we are just collecting or analyzing the basic information about the data. Then third one is we are just transferring the knowledge into action. So these three steps are mainly followed for transforming the data from one format into another format with the help of softwares. So this is the pictorial representation of the database management system purpose. So first we are collecting a huge amount of data files. So in that I can use n number of data files. For example, if I am taking as a student database means, so in that first semester, then second semester related data, third semester up to seventh semester, I am collecting the nearby 8 files. So that entire 8 files is called as an data files. So in the data files, the information of the data were placed in like a entity and attribute based on that category. It is updated in that files. The next one is the control files. So whenever we are transmitting the data from knowledge into action, so entire process should be maintained in that one specific location. So that is called as in control files. So which means what are all the process earliestly made over to the database, so that entire information is maintained in that control files. The next one is log files. So this is provide the detailed information about that all data files. So when it is opened, how many times it is reused, so that entire information is completely stored in that log files. So that is finally it is present in that archive format. So whenever we are moving the data should be present in that confidentiality manner, which means the third party person should not be hacked the data, which means the data should provide the highly secured information. Thank you.